Okay. So why don't we just do it now, I guess. So if you didn't finish, that's okay. All right. All right, so for this, here's our solution. So again, it's really just like before. Wrong button, sorry. All we're doing, okay, is, should I unmute the mic? All we're doing is, okay, we're just subtracting the standard deviation, as you can see. Right? We have the mean, and we're subtracting the standard deviation. Okay? For 68% of the data, right? 68% of the students' scores were between 10 minus 3 and 10 plus 3. So between 7 and 13. Okay? 95%, right? We subtract 2 times the standard deviation. So we have 10 minus 2 times 3 and 10 plus 2 times 3. So we have 4 and 16. Here, okay, we have 10 minus 9 and 10 plus 9. Minus 3 times the standard deviation and plus 3 times the standard deviation. So most of the students, 99.7% of them, scored between 1 and 19. You know, 99.7% of the scores were between 1 and 19. Are there any questions on this? Okay. All right, now let me just see something. I'm going to need Desmos. Oh, okay, so here, as you can see, we're going to have Desmos. So let me get the Desmos as well. Basically, we're going to graph stuff using Desmos. Now, last time, I did show one way, right, to graph the normal distribution. If you remember, it was in Desmos. We had a bunch of sliders, I think. It was like a nasty, it was, I don't want to say nasty, but it was a complicated formula involving E, if you remember. Well, I actually found this yesterday, and I feel silly I didn't present it before. I feel silly I didn't find it before. Okay? But it turns out there's an easier way, a much easier way to graph the normal distribution using Desmos. And here I'm basically demonstrating that. You know, you go to desmos.com. What you do is you basically get to the graphing calculator. What you can do, as you'll see here, I will demonstrate shortly. You'll see like a little keyboard icon at the bottom. When you click on that, wait, there we go. You'll get something like this, functions. Then if you click on functions here at the bottom right, you know, on the screen, not on the slides, I mean, you'll see DIST, and there you can click this, normal distribution. Oh, wait, okay? You can click on normal distribution, which is this thing. Or you could just type it in. But what that does is it allows you to graph the normal distribution for any mean and standard deviation you want. Okay, but let me demonstrate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to Desmos. Okay, so let me stop sharing this. But again, you have the notes in front of you, so it's not too big a deal if I stop like that. Application window. No, here we go. So if you type in desmos.com, you can see that you'll see the screen. Okay. When it says log in or sign up, you can do that if you want. It's free to do. When you actually sign up, let me see if I can make it work here. Here we go. You'll get a screen like this. Where for external account, if you have, Google or an Apple account, you can use that. And it's free to use, so, it's very easy to do. It doesn't cost anything. For email address, you can use, I think, any email address you want, and it's still free as well, which is really nice. I use my Google account to sign in, which is nice. So that's what I'm doing now. Again, it's free, so it doesn't cost me a thing. So you click on Math Tools, and then you can go to Graphing Calculator, as you can see. So this is where you are. But what I was saying before with the keyboard, that is, let me make sure they can see that. Right. So again, what you can do is this. You could just type it in, normal DIST. Or you could do this. You go to the keyboard, click. On the right here, you have functions. Click. And you'll have a bunch of functions here. These are trig functions. These are hyperbolic trig functions, but again, we're not doing that. If you go to DIST, if you go to stats, actually, you can get a bunch of things like median, quartile. If you go to DIST here, you can get different visualizations, distributions, and we're mostly focusing on normal distribution. Okay, normal. So I click that. And then again, you could type in, really anything you want. If you don't type anything in, it assumes the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. That's what's graphed here. So if I want to type in, say, I don't know, let me see what's in my notes. Let me see. If I want to type in, oh, there we go. So we have that. I'm trying to remember. Ah, here we go. So if you wanted to type in, I don't know, say 5 and 2. So I just made those numbers up. Right? You can see the normal distribution is plotted. Okay. This find cumulative probability thing, leave that unchecked for now. We'll actually see, if not today, then Thursday, what this is used for. Okay, if you click it, you would get this, but again, we're not doing that now. Or you can do something like this, like 5, you can do 1 divided by 2. Or you could just type in as a decimal. So instead of 1 over 2, I could do like 0.3, 0.03, see? Okay. 0.23, I can mess around with this. If you choose something big, like let's say 15, you may have to move the graph. You could do that by clicking on this wrench icon here. If you click there, you'll get the labels for the x-axis, the bounds that is, and the y-axis, as you can see. Okay. Or you could just click and hold and move your mouse. See? You could also zoom in by using the plus and minus. Zooming in, move. See? There's a lot of things you can do. If you do sign in and make an account, you can actually save your graph. There's a save button up here. Oh, wait, no, wrong screen. There's a save button in the top left that says save. You could save your graph if you make an account. But this, you can see, is a lot easier to make a normal distribution. So, graphs it immediately for you. I mean, normally in class, I probably would have you sketch it by hand. But again, in this online environment, I just think it's better to show you through something like Desmos, where it's free and easy to do. Okay. So let me now actually, I think I'm going to have, okay. Are there any questions about this? Okay, in the next screen, in the notes, I have a graphical example. I have the graphs sketched already. But what I say to do is to graph the distribution, the normal distribution, with a mean 34 and different standard deviations. That's the next slide in the notes. So I'm going to do that here with you guys. With everyone, I mean, excuse me. So we want the mean 34. Okay. So here, of course, we're going to have to get to 34. So let me use the wrench icon. Okay. For the x-axis, we want to include 34. So let me make this, instead of 20, let me make it 40. That helps. And it does. Okay. Or you can just click and drag like this. You know, you click with the mouse, hold, and then move. Now, on the next slide, graphical example, which is slide 9 in the notes, I say the graph the normal distribution with the mean 34 and different standard deviations. So I'm going to do 1/2, which is, again, is the same as 0.5, and we get this. Okay. That's what we get. Let me zoom in a bit. To zoom in, again, we have this plus icon. Okay. Now I want to drag this a bit. Everyone can see what I'm doing. It looks like they can. Yes. Okay. Starts with a 1/2. Okay. Now what I want to do is change the standard deviation, but I'm going to want to compare them all. So let me click here below, and I'm going to type normal distribution, parentheses, 34. The next standard deviation in the notes is 1. So I'm going to call it 1, close parentheses. If you want the red one to go away, I mean, you could close it with the X, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to do this. If I click here, this color icon, that makes the graph go away. So that's what happens when the standard deviation is 1. Okay, well, again, let me type normal, D-I-S-T. The next one I actually want to present has this, where's the notes? In the notes is the next slide. It's 4 with the standard deviation. So the same mean, though. So we have 4, comma, 1. What happened just now, let me show you. What happened just now is I was outside the parentheses. But you want to be in the parentheses. So you might have to press the left arrow key to go to the left. 34, comma, 4, close parentheses. Let me uncheck this, and you get this. So not only does this give us some practice graphing, what it also does, as you can see, it's showing you what happens if you change the standard deviation. And you can see here that, wait, let me stop the recording.